Money is important. We all need a little bit of coin to survive. But Mario is one greedy guy, and today he's on a quest to collect every single coin in Super Mario 3D World. For some guidelines, green stars and stamps don't add to the coin counter, but we're gonna need to get green stars anyway since they're required to make progress. Also, the hub world coins and infinitely respawning enemy coins aren't gonna count. And finally, using the stars to get coins from enemies that don't normally produce coins will be omitted because you can only access this item in certain levels. But anyway, it's time guys. Mario wants to bring home that spaghetti, and let's get started. 1-1 was a smooth start, but it did take a while to break all the blocks on the bridge. I also realized just how many invisible coins there are in this game. But thankfully, by rubbing your finger on the touchscreen, you can easily check suspicious areas and not miss any. When entering 1-2, I decided to grab this Koopa shell and pull off an infinite 1-up trick. I might as well so I don't have to waste time with getting a game over, right? While underground, I did some digging and found a golden pipe. This made me freak out a bit, but thankfully all the coins came from these shells and that was it. I also learned for the first time that trees and flowers may have coins in them, so I need to check every single one now. Something tells me this is going to get tiring real quick. Moving on to 1A, you fight this enemy and you get the coins. To save you guys time, all these enemy-themed levels are obviously going to be possible. 1-3 was the first level to have a P-switch, but it was a breeze. All the P-switches in this game are designed to be 100% collected, unlike games like Super Mario World. And on to our first Plessy level at 1-4. This may seem like a walk in the park, and it is, but not when you're trying to touch every coin. There's branching paths, each with their own set of coins. Now don't worry guys, this level is optional because the game at some points branches paths, so we can just try 1-5 instead. And outside of some tricky invisible coins, it was overall an easy level, so on to 1 castle. It was going okay until this explosive soccer ball decided to blow up these Goombas and the coins dropped, so I had to restart and get these Goombas before the soccer ball did. And that there wraps up World 1. It was a bit rocky, but we're making good progress, so on to World 2. Now 2-1 was going great, it really was. And then I found this gold pipe. Sinking my way down, the room had a giant hole and a golden P-switch. It was at that moment that I realized I was in big trouble. I hit the P-switch and watched hundreds and hundreds of coins go down the drain. And even worse, these coins stopped coming down after about 10 seconds. So that means they don't infinitely respawn and I must grab them to move on. But I wasn't ready to quit despite all odds, so I grabbed Luigi and put him on the very edge to see what would happen. He grabbed a few measly coins and that's about it. So I got another character and attempted to wall jump with Mario and Luigi while the coins fell. And keep in mind, I'm just one person, so the coordination to do this just wasn't working as I hoped it would. Now I'm not gonna lie guys, I'm really sad that we're already stumped. This can't be it, right? That's right, there's a secret warp pipe in World 1 too. I don't know where it's gonna take me though. Maybe I'll go to World 5? I don't know, maybe I'll go to World 3? God damn it. Okay, so I have one more idea about this dilemma, but it's going to require the boomerang suit, which we can't get for a while. So for now, we'll grab the rest of the coins in 2-1 and move on. 2-2 is that one level that requires heavy usage of the touchscreen and microphone. At one point, I almost blew off these Goombas I needed for coins, but luckily they held on for me. When entering 2-3, I discovered that when the Piranha Plants eat enemies, they don't make coins. So that basically means that I have to do this whole level without using the plant and just jumping on them instead. And that wasn't a big deal, it was more than doable. Now 2-4 had a crap ton of coins to collect, but it was pretty simple. And the same goes for 2 Mystery House. Now 2-5 made my blood rise just a smidge due to these block steppers. Not only did I have to squish all of them, but I needed to do that without losing more than 1 Peach clone since I needed them for the 3rd green star. Not that the green stars matter for the counter of course, but I want to get the easy ones before the levels get harder. Now 2 Castle was a pain in the booty because it was an auto-scroller. That means I couldn't take my time, which is a real problem when you need to step on all these block steppers that like to scramble all over the ground. Now the bullet bills do have coins, but they do respawn, so thankfully I don't have to worry about them. and after a bit of struggle and a bit of pull, I was able to knock out World 2. Now upon entering 3-1, I was given the cold shoulder when I realized how much the timer was freezing me up. There were so many trees to check and so much ice that slowed me down. And it's not even like getting any of these coins were hard, it was just doing it all fast that was challenging. After several attempts, I did complete this level with barely enough time to spare. And things weren't going to get easier with 3-2. Now if you've played this game, you probably remembered this coin block that has 1 billion coins in it. But is there really that many in there? Did you hear that? That was the sound of an empty coin block. So what that means is I have to run up to this block as fast as humanly possible, spam like a madman, and the second I hear that thump sound, I have to book it before the screen kills me. It took a few tries, but I actually survived and got all the coins. And thankfully, the rest of the stage wasn't too bad. Now, when I saw that 3-3 was a ghost house, I was a bit concerned that I would get lost in there and miss coins I needed, but it was surprisingly straightforward. But then horror bestowed my eyes entering 3-4. 100 seconds. This is the last thing I want to see. Granted, it's a short level, but that is not a lot of time to work with. My first attempt at this, I accidentally missed a lot of invisible coins, so I had to do this over a few times. At the end, there's a coin block that I'm 99.9% sure actually does have infinitely respawning coins. I got over 200 coins without stopping, and like we've established, respawning coins do not matter. And now on to 3-5. This one was very slow going because it was mostly in the water, but this level is more than doable. 3-6 is my favorite level in the game, the Mario Kart styled one. Even with the branching paths, all I had to do was avoid most of the boost panels and I was able to easily grab all the coins I needed. 3-7 had this one part where I had to free fall and grab all the coins, and that made me a wee bit scared, but I got them all my first try because I'm just that good. Or I got really lucky. Anyway, moving on to 3 Castle. And thankfully, all these boxes don't have coins inside them too, so I was able to skip this pile and get the other coins I needed on the other train. I even played the level over again just to double check, and I was right, so this was an easy level. To wrap up this world is 3B, our first dedicated boss level. Histocrat is my favorite boss in the game, and while there are coins on the little plates you stand on to reach his head, they respawn, so they don't matter. The only coins I needed were at the end of the fight, and boom, we've knocked out World 3. And just to save a bit of time, all of the dedicated boss levels are also possible, as you would expect. But now to World 4. I started off by wasting a lot of time trying to kill all these ant troopers. It took me a while to realize they respawn and their coins don't matter. But after that hiccup, the level went pretty smoothly. The second green star has lots of ant troopers to take down, and they don't respawn, so it takes a while to get them all, but the level is more than possible. Things are about to get messy with 4-2 though. Right away, these Piranha Plants are giving me issues. After killing them, they spew 3 coins and 1 or 2 always landed in the poison. Even with good timing and floating with Peach, I either died trying or always missed a coin or 2. So I tried using the Tanuki suit, and it didn't actually help, but instead I had the greatest luck mankind has ever seen. Like, seriously, how did these coins not fall in the poison? Well, whatever. Everything was chugging along until going for this first green star. Now the green star is easy to get, but the problem is killing all the Piranha Plants. There was no way I could kill all 4 of them and get the green star, so I tried grabbing a second character and using one just for the green star and the other for the plants, but that didn't work. But then I had a revelation. I don't need that green star. Dumb me was thinking way too hard, so I grabbed the cat suit and, well, even with a perfect run, 10 seconds wasn't enough time to get all the coins. So I tried it with Toad since he's faster, and my jumps weren't getting high enough. And then I tried it with Mario, and his jumps still weren't getting high enough. So my last option was to try it with Luigi, and after a couple tries, I got every coin but 1, so I knew that this was possible. And then this happened. Yeah, I only did that because the coin RNG was being nice. And after all of that, I thought this level had chewed me up enough, but we still aren't done. I had to deal with these freaking plants once again, and their stupid coins kept landing in the poison. So you know what? I grabbed a gold leaf and was able to get all the coins that way. You may call it cheating, I call it strategizing, because this level is just evil. But with this suit as a last resort, I prevailed and actually beat 4-2. It was pretty intense, but 4-3 was much more straightforward. The only part worth mentioning was the room with all the P-Switch coins, but with 5 Peach clones, it made it a breeze. Now 4-4 was going well until the very end. There's a crap ton of Biddy Buds to get, and I needed to stomp them because using fireballs would take too long to get their coins. The problem was I kept running out of time or dying trying to get all these Biddy Buds. So after tons and tons of tries, I eventually figured out that the best strategy was to whip the tail and hit 4 of these guys at the same time. Now thank God this mushroom platform goes back and forth. After some tries, I managed to grab every coin and make it to the end. But at the end, I had to check 6 trees for coins with very little time left. But thankfully, I had just enough time to make it. Now moving on to 4 Mystery House, it was going okay until this part with the spikes. I knew there was no way I was going to get all their coins on time, but thankfully this level's just optional. 4-5 also had a lot of spikes, but obviously a more generous time limit, so this level was easy to knock out. And the same goes for 4 Castle. The boulders weren't too much of a nuisance. And that is everything in World 4. And now to World 5. 5-1 puts us on a nice relaxing beach after all that stress. And then I went through the pipe to find Plessy. After our last encounter at 1-4, I thought this was the end. But thankfully, there's no branching paths and there was way less coins to grab. And now we finally have access to the boomerang. So you know what that means. It's time to revisit 2-1's gold pipe. So here was my final idea. I got 4 players all with boomerang suits on. Because of this, I can control all 4 of these characters on my own because all I have to do is push 1 button on each controller. And I already know that boomerangs grab coins, so after practicing that for a while, I put it to the test. And guess what happened? These godforsaken coins for no good reason are immune to being grabbed by the boomerang. This strategy should have at the very least grabbed a good chunk of coins, but this is just ridiculous. Since these coins are so stubborn and different from the other coins, I'm gonna say that they don't count. Now if you think they count, then by all means that's perfectly fine, but I want to play more levels for this video and I'm so done with this gold pipe. Now 5-2 and 5-3 were a cakewalk. Both of these levels had nothing to worry about. 5-4 has plenty of ant troopers, but most of them respawn, so their coins mean nothing to us. 5-5 was a simplistic level to do, and 5-6 required a bit of patience with the flipping platforms, but was also no trouble. There was a scary part in 5-7 where there was coins on this breakable bridge, and I had to grab them before the bridge was completely destroyed. But despite that, it was more than possible. And now for 5 Castle. The hardest part was strangely getting the coins after the boss. There was 4 circles of them, and I was like half a second away from missing a few because all these coins were getting ready to despawn from the level. And that right there is World 5. It was surprisingly easier than most of the worlds we've gone through. And on to 6-1. It was a relatively easy level. I found it to be more than possible. 6-2 has a lot of bricks to break, but it was also an easy level, and the same thing goes for 6-3. Now 6-4 seemed like more of the same, but then I ran into this Piranha Plant, and of course he's right next to this poison. God, I hate these poison levels, so screw it, we're busting out the gold leaf. But now we know that the level is more than possible. And 6-5 was going well too until I found this mystery box. Normally you just take the shoe and run into the green star, but there's 3 Goombas you need coins from, and you can't just ram through them because you won't grab the coins automatically. So I tried using the gold leaf and was able to get coins automatically that way, but I wasn't able to get to the end. Even with Toad, I still wasn't able to get there. But for some strange reason, I just couldn't stop trying this. I felt really motivated to do this specific part, so eventually I learned that when you gain enough speed on the ice and jump, you go a tad bit faster in the air. I optimized my route to where I jumped at the beginning, did a long jump to kill the Goomba, then did lots of perfect jump inputs and made sure to stay as low to the ground as possible since going too high would slow you down. Then I would hit one Goomba, touch the star for an extra second of time, immediately turn around, hit the other Goomba, and how the hell did I just do that? And with that, we know that 6-5 is possible. Now 6-6 has a lot of invisible coins to find, but it was easy enough. And 6-7 was one of the easier auto-scrollers to complete. And then I tried 6 Mystery House. Yep, I'm definitely skipping this level. Within a few seconds of playing 6 Castle, I knew I was in trouble. I set off these block steppers and oh boy, half of them jumped off the stage in fright. My only other option was to use the boomerang, and after tons of tries and good coin RNG, I was able to complete the level. And that was World 6. We're really getting close to Bowser now. So for some reason, this world isn't called World 7 like you'd expect, but it's officially titled World Castle. So keep that in mind as we go through. Castle 1 was a breeze until these block steppers. I messed up the first time, realizing that the POW block shot coins into the lava, but if you carefully time your fireballs, none of them will fall and you can get all their coins. Castle 2 is a pretty fun level, but it's vital that you have a fire flower the whole time since you need coins from the spinies. Now I thought that Castle 3 would be really challenging, but there was barely any coins to grab. At the end I did have to go on all 3 levels to get coins, but otherwise it was a walk in the park. And the same goes for Castle 4 and Castle 5. Both of these levels took little to no effort to complete. And now to Castle 6, and even though it was going relatively slow, it was chugging along. This was our first time running into these little madpole guys too, and for some reason, after you killed them all, they spawned 50,000 coins all the way down here. I don't know why that happens, but the coins are only there for a very short amount of time. So you know what that means, guys. We're busting out the boomerang once again. And it barely helped at all. I wisened up a bit by luring this last madpole as close to the coins as possible. Then I strategically put Peach in a spot that would grab a couple coins, use Mario to hit this last tadpole, then use Toad to run like a madman with his boomerang. Now, was this crazy plan enough to get all the coins? Apparently, yeah, I barely did this in time. So there you go, Castle 6 is indeed possible. For Castle 7, I had a clutch call at the beginning with this lava, but otherwise everything went fine. And finally, Castle was a really simple level, as long as you didn't lose your boomerang suit because you need them for 2 coins. But anyway, after a couple tries, World Castle is done and we are on to the final world. Like previously, this world isn't labeled with an 8, but instead just a Bowser head. So starting with Bowser 1, it was an enjoyable level to get through with no issues. And the same goes for Bowser 2. So let's jump into Bowser 3. This one has a ton of enemies to stomp on, but as long as you're careful, you can nab them and grab them all. And now for our biggest hurdle yet, Bowser Train. Not only is this an auto-scroller train level, but there's coins all over the place from several different enemies. After a bit of practice, I got fast enough to get every enemy in coin, but the end could honestly make this impossible. There's a room you have to go in with Goombas and coin blocks, but on top of the room is ant troopers, 4 sets of them in fact. I can take out the first set, but not the second because of the auto-scrolling screen. Now technically I can get the 3rd and 4th set because there's a coin block that takes you to the ceiling, but that doesn't really help us here. So yeah, this is seeming pretty gloomy, but I have one more trick up my sleeve, and that's to utilize multiple characters. The plan is to have Toad and Mario stand in place with the gold leaf to hit the first 2 sets of ant troopers, and then Peach can quickly scurry inside for the coins and take care of the last 2 sets. But there's one major flaw. Yep, we can't be in 2 places at once. Now I know this happens when you're traveling through pipes, but even in the same level, every character has to be either inside or outside this room, which honestly really sucks. So with that, I've come to the conclusion that it is not possible to beat Super Mario 3D World while collecting every coin. And technically my game ended at World 2-1, but those coins were so stubborn that I still don't count them. Well, I gotta say, Super Mario 3D World did not treat us well. I mean, we did get pretty close, so at least there's that. So hopefully the next game we tackle will go over a little bit better. Maybe we'll actually beat the game one day, who knows? Thanks a bunch for watching, guys, and I hope you have a great day.